Yo, what's going on? You join me already looking sweaty and dirty. That's because I've already made a start on this week's work. And this one is actually my brother's CUPRA 290. So, as you can probably tell, I'm just partway through replacing the front wheel bearings. It's actually that one that's causing a bit of a squeal. It looks like early signs of it on its way out. So, obviously you do these things in pairs. Luckily, managed to save the disc. I haven't had to smack that one off, so when it was up on there previously, it was copper grease on the old hub quite nicely, so that one just came off my hand without even having to tap it once. Unfortunately, what I did notice though is that the inside of the brake discs and actually the pads as well are quite heavily scored. It's really weird because these aren't exactly old brakes, they're still quite new. So got to get that wheel off, get the car jacked up in the air, get the caliper off, get the disc off, and then we get into the fun stuff. Right, let's do it. Right then, now the real fun begins. As you can see, let me just hold it this way. Disc is off, caliper is off, and just secured up there with a hook. Now we tackle the remaining parts. So I think the first step that I did, if I remember, is hub nut, crack that free with the impact, and then get the drive shaft out, get that bottom arm off, and then tackle the 3 M12 in the back, and we should be good to go. So as mentioned, there are a few things that need to come off the car before we can get ready to put the new hub assembly in. First things first is the center drive shaft nut. Now these are obviously really tight, so an impact gun is probably going to be your best friend at this point. Either that or a very long bar. Once we've got that out, the drive shaft itself can come out and just be moved to the side, making sure to suspend it with something like a bungee cord or something. The drive shaft itself luckily wasn't seized on this one, so it came out without too much of a fuss. Once the drive shaft is out of the way, we can then move on to the 3 bolts holding the front part of the control arm down. That will allow us to move the entire knuckle to the forward and to the right hand side, allowing us to have access to the 3 bolts holding the whole hub assembly in place. Right on my ratchet. Here we go. No one can go and join this one on their trip to the scrapyard. Oh man, I'm tired. The thing is, this job actually isn't that bad. Now I can say that now because I've got to the worst point. Now it's at the rebuild point, so anything that was going to happen would have happened by now. May have spoke too soon now. Yeah, okay. Anyway, luckily the drive shafts aren't seized on this one at all. To be fair, they came out nice and free. So now I'm just going to give the seat where the bearing and hub assembly, whatever you want to call it, get that all nice and clean so that the new one sits in there nice and flush, just as you would with, say, discs and pads. You give the hub a clean before you put the new disc on, same concept. I did actually order a set of, just in case, ABS sensors, but that was just in the off chance that I damaged them coming out, so I'm going to give them a quick check now. I checked this one before when I got that one out, and it was fine still, so I will check this one and make sure that it's not damaged in any way. The old bearing had a little bit of crap and stuff behind where the magnet is, just over here. I don't know whether that was causing any issues. I mean, if there's nothing on the dash, then it's picking up the wheel speed fine. But the new one obviously is going to be nice and clean. That'll be nice and free of any debris, dirt, and we'll just sit in there. You can see the splines of the drive shaft's actually nice and clean, there's no corrosion or anything. The other side looked actually a little bit worse. This one's actually nice and good. Perfect chance to check obviously the boots, the suspension, and obviously anything else that you would see right here, the bushings for that lower control arm. I mean, the way that gave me a little bit of a fight to come off was telling me the bushing's alright, but I'll check it visually as well. This is the disc on this side, but from there probably up to about halfway was all kind of pitted and corroded. No, I should probably say scored. It was all scored, like it wasn't seated properly. And you can tell on this one by the condition of the pads as well as the disc that this one's doing all right. There's loads of meat on the pads. I mean, that's just as much on this side as it was on the other. So no idea what's happened there. So I will get, unfortunately, a new set of disc and pads at front. Obviously, you've got to change both sides at the same time, just because I'm not happy with how that one is. Brakes is obviously a really crucial component, you know, it's a safety thing at the end of the day, and I would never want to compromise a little bit of money for the sake of your safety. You know, same thing with tyres, you know, as you can see, he's gone for PS4S's. And yeah, so anyway, enough rambling on. Let's get that hub seat, whatever you want to call it, all cleaned up and get the new one mounted in there, torqued up to spec. All nice and clean, smooth to the touch, no raises, no bumps, whatever, and the ABS sensor's looking good up there as well. There's a little peephole down there apparently for having a look at the bearing or the magnet from behind while the drive shaft's still in, which is clear. I think you can just see through it, probably not because of the lighting, but nice and clean. I'm going to give the splines of the drive shaft a little clean and greasing as well, so that nobody else in the future has any problems. Going to get that out, which is probably going to be me, so I'm going to save my own ass and get this back together again. It's like being on holiday, innit? All you need now is a flipping deck chair, a glassy, and it'll be alright. Right, that's in, all torqued up, and you can see my little paint marks at the back here. If I'm looking at it properly, there you go. So I put a dot on the actual bolt itself and then one on the knuckle, just to know what angle I'm going to. So that's all done, and that ain't going anywhere. Very nice and shiny. Now for the fun bit. 200 Newton meters plus 180 degrees. Need that in a minute. Duh. That's 180. Look at that!
Hello, G.
Look at that! Look at that! Nah, I'm dirty, bro. Just do that. Yeah. What's that, brother? Fake carbon, brother.
Hydro dip.
Hydro, any? Bro, what are you doing? You press and hold your button in it.
Yeah, watch.
Oh.
Yeah.
Basically, you put the car on, inside, and then press and hold the down switch, 10 seconds. Press and hold the up switch, 10 seconds. Watch.
Even if you click the
Start the car. Watch it not work now. Right. Right,
Oh.
Close the door. Why are you coming?
The back one's mashed up.
Is it? Alright. Press and hold the down switch on the driver's side window.
One at a time, yeah?
I guess so, I don't know, try it. Right, 10 seconds. And then after 10 seconds, hold it up. Once it's up, count to 10. Look at that nod counting to 10. You counting?
7.
You counting? Okay, good.
Right.
Right, now get out.
Oh, wait, look to the back window.
Oh yeah, go on then. Fast forward. Well, see if this one works at least when you come out and do it off the key.
Oh, brother. No, don't.
You timed it just right. Everyone's coming in now. As soon as I finish, everyone turns up. My next job,
Pipes.
Dad's X5 washer jets.
What are you saying? Had the injection done.
Do you know what I think you are?
I did that because, yeah, it was in the ass.
See, look, it worked.
Was it in the ass?
Anyway, enough distraction. Let's get on with it. Cool, so that's me all done for today. Car's been collected, he's taking it on actually a long drive as well, so he's taking it straight to London. Tomorrow I've got 2 cars to do. Bit more simple, I guess. I mean, to be fair, this wasn't overly complicated, but like tomorrow is an oil change first of all, and then a few bits on this thing. So as a bit of an update maybe, I think, if I remember correctly, the last thing that I showed you was that the van solenoids were stuck. If I didn't show you that, then the van solenoid was stuck. Basically what I've discovered was when I was going to change them, the previous ones were actually tiger sealed all around and actually on the seal inside as well. So I had fun taking that off. But I basically had to drill it out, which is why you can see all these metal shavings and stuff down there. So yes, I'm completely aware that this car does not look in any real like good condition at all right now, and that's because this has been neglected for some time. So the plan is tomorrow is first thing is I'm going to change this serpentine belt. So I think in one of the last videos I showed you the tensioner was on its way out, it was rattling all over the place, and you can see here that the belt's actually starting to fray. So I'm going to change that. The second thing is, well, I don't think I've mentioned it before, but the gearbox is very, very slow to change. My guess is it probably just needs a good service. It is quite an old car, it's a 57 plate car, and yeah, it could probably do with a bit of a service. So I've got a genuine ZF kit to go in there, and then I'm also going to try and tackle the PCV valve. So the there is a bit of kind of exhaust gas on the looks of it coming from the back of the engine there. I can't tell whether it was the rocker cover gasket not sitting down properly, so I'm going to recheck my work and just make sure that it's sitting down at the back properly over there, and or it's going to be the PCV. But I've got a new one anyway, so I'm going to change it anyway because again it's pretty old, so it's probably on its way out. With those things done, the plan is after that to do a few oil changes on it. So I'm basically going to buy a barrel of oil, 20, maybe even a bit more, 30 odd litres. From memory, this car takes about 4.5 litres full on a service fill. So I'm going to basically drain it, fill it a few times and get as much crap out there as I can. I have cleaned out the inside of the rocker cover. There's all crud and crap on the camshaft itself, so it's not great. But I'll get it as clean as possible. And then we're moving on to a few other things. So like, according to the last MOT, the track rod ends are dead, all the bottom ball joints. What else is there? There's actually a wiring fault on the rear tail light, so the one doesn't work. I've mentioned about the central locking in the past. And then as much of the body work as I can physically do myself. So you can see there the bumper's hanging off from the recovery driver that dropped it off in the first place. Congratulations to you, mate. And brakes are probably going to be worse for wear now. I mean, they're bog standard anyway, so I can probably change them. And yeah, let's get this thing looking really, really good, as best as I can get it. And then obviously it needs an MOT and tax and all the rest of it. So it'll be a nice little series, I think. So let's get it as good as we can possibly get it. And then I want to move on to the next project now, because I have got something in mind, which I'll reveal later, which I think will be awesome, because I think a lot of people want this kind of car. There's loads you can do to it. It's very, very modifiable. That gives you a few hints as to what I'm looking at. It's still quite broad, but yeah, have a think of what you think it might be. But anyway, I will see you tomorrow.